Share via email. Report story. By Ochamu. A few members of Class 1A were gathered lazily in the common room, scattered on and around the couches. It was a quiet day in the dorms, not much was happening. It was welcomed by the students with open arms. It was refreshing to get some time to relax and not have to fight for their lives again. Bro, what? Hiroshima's voice rung out, disbelief evident in his voice. Bakugo stared back at him grumpily. Hiroshima then turned to the rest of the room. Okay, guys, what's your opinion on Mount Lady? She's manly, right? They all sweat dropped. That was what they were talking about. She's fucking annoying is what she is. Bakugo rolled his eyes, almost as if he couldn't believe people were going to try and fight him on this. Most of the guys in the room had subtle blushes on their cheeks when they thought of the newly debuted hero. Mount Lady is not annoying, Mina said with a huff. She's badass. The girls who were present mostly all nodded. Toru whined. I'm just jealous of how much publicity she gets. I hope I stand out as much as her when I'm a pro. Ojiro awkwardly patted her on her shoulder, and nobody really replied because it was a little obvious she couldn't really stand out at all, what with being invisible. Deku placed his chin in his hand thoughtfully. She's a great hero. Her quirk gives her many strengths and advantages against villains. However, her biggest weakness is probably also her size due to the fact that his voice trailed off as it became unintelligible to the rest of the world except him. They all stared at him like he was crazy. Quote dot dot dot. Midoriya, Hiroshima asked. You could have just replied with a yes or a no, dude. His head snapped up and he noticed all the eyes on him. Oh, sorry. It's a bad habit. He laughed nervously. Mineta cleared his throat to bring everyone's attention to him. While Mount Lady's an absolute babe, he got a few glares for that one. She's definitely not girlfriend material. Trust me, my internship with her is something I try to forget every day. He shivered as he recalled the memories. Mina deadpanned. No offense, Mineta, but I don't think you have the right to say what's girlfriend material considering that you're, well, you. Murmurs of agreement came from everyone, and he just ignored it bitterly. Speaking of girlfriends, Hiroshima began. How would you describe your dream girlfriend? Toru sighed heavily. I guess it's time for me to take my leave, and Mina nodded. You can join in too. Just switch the question around. It wasn't very manly of me to forget that there were ladies here, Hiroshima said guilty. Mina waved her hand. It's fine, I really don't care. Besides, this seems like something I shouldn't listen in on. The two girls left the common room, but you'd be a fool if you thought they were going to actually not listen. Those two were the biggest romantics in the class. This was a chance they could not miss. Mina smirked deviously at her brilliant acting skills. This is stupid. Bakugo gruffly spoke. Do I look like I have time for a fucking girlfriend? Kachan, do you really not want a girlfriend? Izuku asked curiously. Fuck that, I'm not letting myself get dragged behind, and you shouldn't either shitty Deku. Izuku stammered to find the words to say back to his childhood friend and Kirishima laughed. Chill out, dude. Ojiro, I'm interested in what your type is. You're kind of quiet so. The blonde shrugged sheepishly. I haven't really thought about it too much, but all I know is looks don't really matter to me at all as long as she's a good person then I'm all good. He smiled. Izuku nodded at the words, agreeing with him about the looks part, while Kirishima wiped away tears. That was so manly, bro. Bakugo rolled his eyes at Kirishima. Midoriya, what about you? His green eyes widened. Me. Oh, well, I'd like it if she was bubbly and could make me laugh. He started, and, I find chubby cheeks really cute. A blush coated his face, and behind the scenes, Toru and Mina were having a riot. I hope she also wants to be a hero, and has determination that we can both share, so we can both try our hardest together. He coughed awkwardly. I don't really care that much about height, but it'd be nice if she was even just an inch smaller than me. Everyone stared as Izuku began to ramble, obviously not stopping to think about what he was saying. It was amusing, even to Bakugo, although he'd rather die than ever admit that. If I ever had a girlfriend, which I doubt I will, we would have had to be really good friends before. If I had to pick my favorite hair color on a girl, brown would have to take the cake. Especially shorter hair. It was clear he had forgotten that there were people listening to him go on. His eyes were focused on his feet as he spoke. All in all, someone who makes me happy is the main thing. It seemed he had finally finished. Do you realize you totally just said that whole thing out loud? Ojiro asked. Midoriya's face quickly reddened as it all dawned on him how much he'd said. Why was he like this? Hiroshima looked at him with a confused expression. Bro, did you just describe Uraraka? What? He squeaked. Anyone with a brain would fucking see that. Bakugo snorted. And no. Izuku yelped. I didn't just describe Uraraka. Why would I do that? I didn't. Did I? The poor boy looked like he was having an existential crisis. He probably was. A collection of shouts came from behind the doors, very feminine shouts. Hiroshima walked over cautiously, opened it, and when he did, he was toppled over by Mina and Toru, who had clearly been listening in. The boys glared at them, except Deku. He was still contemplating his entire life up to this moment. Hi, guys. Mina trailed off nervously. Toru, did you hear any part of this conversation? 'Cause I sure didn't. She attempted to lie, but nobody was having it. We're screwed, Mina, Toru whined. That's not manly of you guys, Hiroshima frowned. A figure arose from behind the couch with a guilty smile. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to eavesdrop either. I just happened to be here, behind the couch. You Uraraka, where stories live. Discover now.